Hello, hello, hello.
How are you? Am I getting any feedback? I just realized I had my volume up pretty high.
No, I don't hear myself.
You're
How
good?
is that? Like I can hear myself when we're talking regularly,
Yeah.
not now.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't know. Well, hey friend. I'm trying to clear things up so when I do a share screen later, it's
You can
it's all right.
find your
Yeah.
screen?
Do
Yeah.
what?
So you can find your screen when you share screen?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
want to be
Yep.
able to do that.
So
Okay.
what you're saying is that your desktop is looking like what's looking behind you.
Oh, my what's going on behind me is a whole lot, y'all, and you're not even missing. I mean,
Oh, I didn't even see behind your chair.
and you're missing what's over there. That is what I'm sending to you.
Oh my god.
You guys missed. Like, you guys don't know. Like, was that Friday that we did that?
It was Friday.
It was Friday.
I think
So
so.
Friday, I got like I got a, well, not even Friday, Thursday night, I got an idea from Robin, because if you guys remember, she talked about how she went through all of her works in progress, organized what she has, and has everything in on a shelf, I think is what you said,
Yeah.
of what she's doing for Turkey Trot, or not Turkey Trot, Jolly Holiday.
Yeah.
And so she has all of her projects, like, this is what I'm going to do. And I was like, you know what? That is such a good idea. And what y'all don't know is over here in this corner, I had a huge pile of whips, right? Just a huge pile. Not only there, but I had a whole bunch back there. Like, they're just all over the place. So I'm like, I'm going to go through that pile over here and do what Robin did. Well, that resulted in this because I was telling Robin about it, and then I was showing her all the things. She's like, well, which one's Jolly Holiday? Which one should you keep? Which one should you rip out? I ripped out a lot. And then
Mhm.
I was like, well, let me go get the other stuff. So I went and grabbed all my ones that are in there. And so we organized all of my whips. And that there is Jolly Holiday. Behind me is just whips, just stuff.
Things to
There,
go
that
with.
is a finished hat with a sample inside of it that I need to write the pattern. I don't know what that is. Oh, that was a swatch, like a sample thing that I wanted to finish and give away. Anyways, yeah, there's just, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, there's just 3 months worth of work behind you, that's all.
Just a whole bunch of stuff. Just a whole
Mhm,
bunch of stuff. I feel like you
mhm.
should show yours.
No,
Not gonna happen.
not gonna happen.
Awesome.
No, the only thing no, mm-mm. I bought all these, like, little baskets, so, like, the ones that I know like, the designs that I need to design are in the baskets, like I was saying, so, like, I can just grab the basket and then
Yes,
go upstairs and go do whatever.
that's
No, I'm
perfect.
now I'm now in turkey trot mode, so I've been working on turkey trot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I worked on a different kind of thrummed mittens for crocheters.
Oh, that's exciting.
Isn't that cool? So I held roving so that
The
it
whole
lines the
time.
inside, which, unlike, thrumming where it's
Where
fluffed
it's
out.
all
But I
put
was like,
on, yeah.
okay, I'm gonna do something slightly different and play around. But I made these. They don't fit my hand because I made them to fit Alora. And what you don't know, well, you probably know, Alora has like a really short thumb, like a very short thumb. So does Jojo on one of his hands.
Huh,
So I made these with really short little nubbin thumbs because Alora's mittens never fit her because
right.
her thumb is like down here. So they fit Alora. But I liked it, so I was like, "Oh, that's kinda cool," and I used the single double, which some people now are calling houndstooth. I don't know. It's I've always loved single double, and my original thrummed mittens used the single double. So I was like, "Oh, I'll just, like, make a slight variation," even though those are top down and these are bottom up, so it's a different pattern. But
Got
I
it.
worked on those when I wasn't ill this weekend. It's delightful. But
Lovely.
yeah, so
Mhm,
much fun.
mhm.
So hey everybody, I'm Marley Bird. That's my best friend Robin. That's my best friend. We are marleybird.com, and we come to you every Monday, and we usually sit around, chat either about life, about knitting, about crochet, perimenopause every now and again. And sometimes we do like a lunch and learn, like a little tutorial. We talk about, what are some big events or patterns we have coming out. Like, we just really just have a good time. So we really want you to sit back, relax, grab your knitting or your crochet if you want to just chill out with us and, just feel like you're hanging out with some friends. There is a live chat that is happening if you're watching this live. I think after the fact, you can always pull that up and see what people were saying if you want to. But
Mhm.
we always love comments after the show. So if today's show inspires you to go to your keyboard and leave us a beautiful note in the comment section. We would love that. And then while you're down there, smash that like button because it's a lot of fun. Now, one thing we haven't done in a while, and I'm not going to do it right now. We haven't done the free pattern with the Mondays with Marley, but let's pause for a second right here and do our pose. So if they want to, so here we go. You ready? All right, so that's your clip. So if you don't know, if you will take a picture of yourself with that little image in the background, show us what you're working on, put it on your dog, your cat, whatever, and share it with us, you have a chance to win a free pattern if you use hashtag Mondays with Marley online. That's what we use to go and search up past ones. And it doesn't mean like it only works for this week. Like we look at them like forever. So post, but so I'm not going to give one away today. We have a lot of things going on, but we'll make sure that we get that started up again because we haven't done it in a little while. Super easy to do. All right, there's all of that. I feel like I went past your turkey trot really quickly. Can you hold that up again? Because I haven't seen it yet. Is that a pocket I spy?
It is.
It's got pockets. That's awesome.
Well, because you like pockets a lot.
I do like pockets a lot.
Yeah. And I lied a little bit where I said that we weren't going to do cables. These aren't cables. They're just like a post stitch. But because the yarn is so grabby is not the right word. Like because it's wool, they like to all the fibers like to grab onto each other because they're all curls. It really makes it I feel like you're losing out if you're doing lace. Like you need to do some sort of texture because it'll like pop.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like it. Well, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So Robin and I haven't talked this weekend at all. I have spent a lot of time online though, as I was working on various things, and something happened at the end of last week over the weekend that I want to talk about. And I don't know if you've picked up on it at all, you guys, with the title of this podcast, but it's something that is important. And I feel like it's important for us to talk about, especially in the sense of that's what we do. We talk about things, right?
Yeah.
And that is, where do we draw the line between inspiration or imitation or downright deception when it comes to me? Marley, what do you mean by that? Okay, say you come across a design. You're just an average Joe hobbyist. You're like, oh, that's really cute. You don't follow any designers. You have no idea if it's like a popular design that's been around by a popular designer. You just are like, oh, that's really cool. I like that. I'm gonna get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've heard the name of a design and you're like, oh, I'm going to go search for it. And when you do, because you don't know, who designed it or who made that name popular, you see several different ones and you pick one out and maybe you're going to buy the pattern. Maybe it's the cheaper of the options. Okay. But you have no idea who designed it. Do you hear what I'm saying here, guys? Yeah. So there's so many different ways that go about it. And as designers, I know for myself, like, you and I talk about things all the time about trying to make sure we aren't copying anybody, right? We can get inspired by people. I get inspired by people all the time. I have made it completely known. I buy patterns on Ravelry all the time and I read them like a book. I'm like, how did you do that shoulder shaping? How did you do XYZ? How did you write this? Because I love the way you've described this, whatever it may be. Not to downright copy people, right? But to get inspiration and to educate myself, I guess. But then there's those few things though, where you're like, that is so quintessential, that person's style, digital footprint, if you will, the way they present their information, whether it's in a reel, in their imagery of the way they do their photography, the way they present it in a pattern, the way they photograph it, the colors they use, like all of that, right? Like you can look at all of that and be like, that all those colors, that's a Marley Bird pattern. You know what I mean? Like it's like all those things like that.
Yeah. At
what point is it just flattery if another person were to take one of my designs? Let's just say this one. Okay. It's a basic cable. Cable is a cable is a cable is a cable, right? I can't do anything copyright wise if somebody wants to use this cable. You can't copyright a stitch, right?
Right.
But there's a problem ethically if somebody wants to take this, use the stitch pattern, same color, same yarn, same style of the way I photograph it, the way I teach it, the way I write my pattern. Do you see what I mean? Like there's a line there that can get crossed. And if it happens once or twice accidentally, it happens. I've talked about before, Tamara and I've talked about, she came out, I think it was, this was so long ago. I'm pretty sure it was like some, like, not oven mitts, but like, pot holders. And it was using that stitch that I just told you, that I just threw out all the samples where I hated teaching that class. It was using that. What is that called? Like, I don't even, it's like, it's two-sided.
It's not, is it interwoven or interlaced?
Yes. Which, by the way, is a trademark term. Interlocking. Interlocking is trademark, so we call it interwoven. Because you can trademark a term, not a stitch. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But so it used that. So she came out with something that I had just finished something. And so she posted it. I sent her a picture of mine. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. Like,
right.
Literally this is the same, right? I'm like, no. She was like, no worries, post yours. I'm like, no, that is not something I want to step into, right? And then there have been a couple times I've come out with something and a designer had something in a book that was coming out later, and they have sent me a picture. They're like, I don't want you to ever think I was copying, like this is already in the works. And I'm like, no worries at all. Like, I understand. So there is a level of understanding and ethical professionalism, I think, amongst designers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is getting lost a lot today in how readily available patterns are online, and maybe how, with the lack of like TNNA or what was it? Knitting Guild of America, KGOT, whatever, Knitting Guild of America, KGOA, lack of maybe training of understanding of how this kind of stuff works. I think that there's a lack of education, not just educating the customers, because it's not the customer's responsibility. That's
right. Like, I don't know how as a customer you'd have any idea.
Yeah, that's not your job. You know, yeah, it's great. It's great if you recognize it. You're like, awesome. I'm going to make sure I always buy from Marley Bird, right? That's awesome. But that's not your job. But as professionals, and if you're making patterns, whether they are free or paid for, you are a professional. I feel like there is a professional level of courtesy, ethics, copyright, trademark. There's a whole gamut of things, right?
Yeah. Like it's with everything. I think you definitely know when you're designing, is this coming from my brain?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I completely just doing what somebody else has already done?
Right.
Because like the way I was always taught was that you can use the same shape, like same similar dimensions.
Yeah.
But it needs to be an entirely different stitch pattern.
Yes.
If you're using the same stitch pattern, it needs to be an entirely different project. Like using like one element of it, those are different things. It's like, and if they're both yellow sweaters, well, they're going to be totally different sweaters. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's different.
And it's hard when you're talking about like, stockinette stitch or single crochet or double crochet. I mean, yeah, there are granny squares, or like those are so common.
Right. But like you can't, a granny square sweater is going to be a granny square sweater.
Right.
I don't like when somebody makes like the original pattern is worsted weight and they do exactly the same thing, but they use DK weight, which is then like, it's a different pattern because it's different sizes, but like that is a line that I don't like because they look the same to an uneducated crafter. Right. We're like, we know the difference, the fat versus skinny, but like other people don't. But it is, there is 100% being inspired by, which is like hugely flattering. And you always just like being inspired by is one thing, but like, I guess I have a hard time when people use the exact same wording. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm like, because I guess because I have to fight for every word that I write, because being dyslexic, like I have to think about it so hard. I've done 18 different models to make sure that I have this right. And then they just like pull it and you're like, oh, that stinks.
Right.
But again, if it's just one thing, again, if it's just like one thing that you're taking, I don't have a problem. But like if it's multiple things, and then if your photography looks exactly like yours, because it's not my photography, I
Uh-huh.
don't take in any pictures.
Like my photography.
Marley's photography.
Yeah.
Um, I really struggle with that because two people coming up with the exact same idea generally the same time
Mhm.
happens so often.
All the time.
It's wild.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
there used to be magazines, because there's not really magazines anymore.
Mhm.
Like the editors used to, they used to drive each other crazy because like everybody knows everybody in the industry. And so you'd be like, you got to be kidding me, you put that out too. Because like they didn't like be like, hey, this is what I'm putting out. No
You don't
one
wanna
did
get they
that.
used to call it getting scooped, right? Like,
Ugh.
that's what
So like there were so many times that like the cover looked almost nearly exactly the same. Neither of them knew, like
Mhm.
that can happen.
Yeah. I mean, it just that stuff can happen all the time. The problem here is that when inspiration goes beyond that, when
Right.
somebody intentionally mirrors another designer's work, from the stitches to the styling to the photography to the keywords, SEO keywords, the naming of all of that, that's when all it's more than a coincidence at that point.
Yeah, like
You
that
call it what you want,
really
but it's more than a coincidence.
I never I guess in the past I never saw somebody doing the exact same thing and selling the pattern. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like
mhm.
making exactly the same thing and then selling the pattern. I might have saw
Or
somebody.
putting it on free on their website, because let's be clear, they can still make money putting it on free on their website. That doesn't dissolve somebody
Oh,
from
no, that's
not doing
just
the right thing.
it's the same thing. But like
Mhm,
I really rarely saw that. The most time that you would see is somebody would make it and sell it. And
mhm.
some designers had a problem that you're like selling something that I designed. We don't
Yeah,
have that issue because
you're allowed to do that. Legally, you're allowed to do that.
right, like but some designers got mad. I
Yeah,
never did.
yeah,
Um, but it's wild when you like now granted, all the time you would saw people like copying out of our books and trying to sell that as a single pattern.
yeah. Oh,
There
yeah,
but that person isn't like physically making it and
right,
selling it as their own.
right.
So what you're saying now is there are people who are physically making something,
Yes.
copying everything about the pattern,
Well,
and then
it's
selling
close,
it as
like,
their own pattern.
it's it's unrecognizably different. You know what I mean? It's close enough with things, and it's more than just a stitch. I want to be very clear here. I'm not saying, oh, they used the same stitch and did a very similar thing. Like, it's more
Uh-huh,
than that. I
uh-huh.
think that's where we're running into like muddy waters here.
Yeah,
It's more than just, oh, I used a granny stitch, they used a granny stitch, we both made a sweater, right? It's
right.
beyond that. It's all the things I just said earlier, right? It's you did that, but then you also the styling is the same, the photography is the same, your keywords are the same, your title is the same, the way you did the reels are the same. Like, it's beyond just stitches, because again, I'm going to go back and say everything I have been taught, and I am not a lawyer, is you can't copyright a stitch, even a combination of stitches and stuff. I don't think you can
No,
copyright that. You can
no.
copyright a name, you can copyright like a technique style and stuff. You can't copyright
Mhm.
stitches.
No,
So I just want to be very clear that it's not this just, oh, it's these stitches are the same, right? Otherwise, everybody who did a stockinette sweater, we'd all be like, you know, like, no, that's
yeah,
not cool.
there
That's just
there
not
would be
cool.
none. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw online this weekend somebody, they wrote, I jotted it down because I wanted to make sure it says, we work hard to innovate and share freely within an ethical framework that respects one another's artistry. But crossing that line undermines the integrity of our entire handmade community. And I was like, wow, that hits hard. Like,
Yeah.
that makes total sense right there. And some of you are like, what the heck are they talking about? Like, what do you mean? What I have an example. So there is an image that has been shared online that I am going to share here. And what I want you to do, this is a task for everybody. I want you to look at this. You don't know which one of these patterns came out first. Okay. You don't know which one was made first, chicken or the egg. You have no idea. I just want you to look at these with a critiquing eye of the sense of, if you were shown these side by side, would you think, oh, those are the same things, they just look a little bit different, oh, those are the same, or those could be the same designer, or those, this, that, and the other. Okay, I want you to look at that, and then I want you to know that of the pictures I'm going to show you, they do go beyond that line of integrity that I've been talking about, of all the things. Okay, like, it's, you call it what you want to call it, but this is where it's very questionable. Okay? So let me pull it up so that way I can do a screen share of just the image, and put this over here. Come on now, I want to be able to see. I want to see you guys too. So I got this. Okay, and screen share. So far, I haven't been reading any of the comments, you guys. So I will read them. I promise. Let's see. Window. This one. All right, here we go. See if it pops up. Is it popping up? Nope, of course not. Of course it's not. Of course it's not.
Yeah.
Why? It says it's sharing. You've got to be kidding me. No. The browser can't access your screen. Try capturing a different screen. Okay, I'll move it. Let me move it to another screen and see if that works. Screen. Window. Anything? It says it's sharing. This is, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, hold on. Oh, there, it's popping up now. There it is. There it is.
I was going to be like, because I can share it.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to make it bigger.
Yeah. So
let's just not look. Let's not look at the top. There's a lot of writing there, but okay, let's look at this. Okay. So there are 4 designs here. Okay. These I will tell you, these are all different. If I didn't tell you that, would you know they were different?
So what you're saying here is one person created the imitation copy.
I wouldn't call it a copy. I would say one came before the other.
Okay.
So I would not call it a copy.
There is 4 different designs.
Yes.
But there is one person who is taking the inspiration a little too far. But the rest of them, they're different people, right? They're all different people.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, there are 4 different designs. And of those 4 designs, you can see there's like a duplicate of it.
Yeah.
That would raise the concerns about originality. How about that?
Yeah.
So let's look at this one right here. You see this? Right? It's a basic stitch. You look at this one, same basic stitch.
Yeah.
However, but they're photographed the same. Yeah. They're styled the same. They're presented the same. They are offered online with the same tags in the SEO tags. There are a plethora of coincidences of the two. That's where we get into the muddy waters. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And
to the layperson, to a customer who doesn't follow any, I don't know. I literally don't know who designed any of these except the pumpkins.
Right.
I know who designed. I don't know. I have no idea. Everybody knows who designed the pumpkins, right? So if you don't know this, you could think this was the same pattern, just a different image, right? Don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Which in my mind puts it in the land of deception.
I mean, that's how the Christmas trees are. I just assumed they were the same.
Right.
I mean, with my eye, I can tell that the other one is a DK weight and one's a worsted weight. Because how big the bobbles are.
Yeah.
But like
so
they
these kind of look like puffs and these look like bobbles, but I don't know. I don't know the patterns. Right. I literally am just seeing the pictures. I don't even know who designed them.
Yeah.
But again, you look at this, that's pretty darn close. That's pretty it is here. I'm gonna talk about this way.
Okay.
When I was going through all of the things with my why can't I go back to where it's just us? There it is. No, not that. Oh, here we go again. We're gonna play the game. When I was going through my own logo,
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole story behind it, but essentially the lady I paid to do my original logo, if you guys remember that logo with the cute little bird that had the boots on the feet and all the things, supposedly that was an original logo she made on her own and sold to me.
Uh-huh.
Lo and behold, it was not original. She had purchased it from somewhere and changed just a slight amount and sold it to me. The problem here, according to my attorney, is that slight amount is not that was not enough of a change to make it where it was a new design. If in a court of law, if somebody who is just a layperson can look at a design and be like, well, yeah, that's just like that. Like if they're too recognizable, too much the same, it is not an original design. So that's why my new logo, you guys know my new logo, there are no boots. It's a completely different bird. And we went through so many different revisions of that logo to get to the part where my lawyer was like, yes, that is original. And it ended up being that I went to I never worked with the lady who sold me the original one again, but I had to go to a whole new artist who just was like, oh, this is her name, I'm going to design something. Didn't look at the original. So that's my understanding of things when it comes to originality. Am I making sense there?
Yeah.
So when I look at, how do I go back to this? There you go. When I look at this, if I were in a court of law, even if it's the court of public opinion, those are the same thing. Those are the same thing. They are similar enough that, they are not recognizably different unless you know. Down here, look at this. Right down to where you're going up to an ocean, holding the thing the exact same. And then of course you get to, and I'm calling out Brianna because I know you guys know she's one of my really good friends, and her pumpkin and wheat stitches have they are viral like nobody's business.
Yeah,
people who don't even crochet know these things, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at
she's
this
made
one.
everything out of it. Sweaters, hats.
Yeah, she's done so much with the wheat stitch, and it's not just a puff stitch. It's like, she said that it's like a puff stitch, but it's like one less yarn over of a puff stitch, and the way she finishes it is different. Regardless, again, you can't copyright a stitch, right? But the styling, the writing, the presenting, the tagging, all the things, that's where things get muddy. So I know, because I'm a professional crochet designer, I can look at that and I can see that, yes, Brianna's puff stitch, her altered puff stitch, is different than the puff stitch on the pumpkin.
Right.
I can see that. But that's not what's in question here. It's everything else that involves with it. Right? That's...
Yeah. Brianna's pumpkins are the least... the most different of all the four that you're showing me.
Yeah.
They look the most different.
Now, what if I told you in the tags, my understanding is in the tags of the other one, it actually says wheat stitch pumpkins. So if somebody Googles or goes on Etsy and searches for wheat stitch pumpkins, the goal there is, I'm going to make sure these come up.
Right.
To me, that's deceptive, right? To me, again, is there any legal thing behind it? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Ethically, though?
Yeah, legally, there's nothing you can do, because if they're writing their own pattern, and if the pattern is actually different than hers, it's a different pattern.
Nothing you can do.
No.
But then there's the whole argument of what's called a digital footprint. And that's the styling, the photography, the presenting of the information, the reels that are virtually identical to what has been done. That's where things get muddy. So again, we go back to the original question, inspiration or imitation. At what point do we draw the line?
Yeah.
And it's one thing if it was once.
Yeah.
It's one thing if it's once. And I told you, I don't know who designed all these, but what if the imitation here was all done by the same person? What if?
Yeah.
At that point, is that when you're like, oh, now that raises a concern?
It does raise a concern if
point is
none of the work that you're doing is original. Like,
right?
that seems wild to me that you just go on and pick something that's popular and then make it yourself and then
Right.
do all of the same photography. Like, that
Right.
seems wild to me.
Seems calculated. So I'm going to go like this because there is a question here that I think is really good. If we can't even discern AI, how do we know designer's original? Exactly, Becky. That's why it's not your responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of AI, that's a whole nother issue that we aren't even going to tackle here. But that's the same similar thing is happening with people who are just taking popular patterns, taking the image, and then having AI redo the image slightly, having it write the pattern, and then selling it on Etsy. Ravelry does a pretty good job with knocking that down, but Etsy has a serious issue with that, especially if you look at the amigurumi stuff right now. Like it's really questionable. But yeah, it goes along the same lines of that's so if all right, so this is just popping in my head. If we're saying that AI looking at an image and coming up with the whole design that literally copies the image that it was originally presented in but comes out with their own thing, we're saying that's wrong. How can we say it's okay if a person is doing that?
Right. A slower process. That's for sure.
Much slower process. But how can we say that? You know what I mean? I'm going to look at some of these comments before we look at some of the other samples that we have here. And oh gosh, there's a lot of people just kind of talking. Oh, this is good, Beverly. It's called respect. If you came across something like this that has happened as a designer, respect the other designer enough to contact and let them know that it's happened totally by accident. That's exactly it. It's professionalism, and it's very common. This is actually kind of rare that it's at this sort of a level of imitation.
But I was going to say, like,
and that's I think that it's because it has reached this level that it's important that we educate the community as a whole of, hey, this is happening. We need to be aware. As designers, we need to be better. You need to do better. Like, come on now. Don't steal my work. Don't steal somebody else's work. I'm not going to steal your work. And if I accidentally copied you in some way, I'm going to be like, holy crap, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. Or this is, I had this going on. Like it would not be intentional. I mean, dear God, if I even find out I have hurt somebody's feelings on accident, I cry. Like I could cry right now thinking about it. Like I couldn't even imagine purposely being deceptive like that. It is so just not within my makeup. I am.
Well, and it just seems like there's a lot faster ways of making a buck.
Right.
It takes so much more time.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to keep going here. Let's see. I saw a very similar crochet cardigan. I want to give a heads up, Marley, but I felt out of my element. So like similar to mine or similar to somebody else's. I mean, the best thing to do, so somebody wrote, what do you do? I mean, first and foremost, before you like do any sort of like, going on blast, so to speak, I would always reach out to the designer, reach out to the designer you think is affected, be like, hey, I found this, you might want to know. I mean, I have people on Etsy who have contacted me and said, hey, there's this store over here who's selling one of your designs. And it's it's the garden party cardigan. Like that happens so much. People steal designs all the time and then resell them. And so people that, hey, I know this design is yours. I'm just sending it to you. And then I can go and do I think it's called a DCMA. So there's things like that. But I mean, I think at the core of it, I like to think that people are good people and they don't purposely want to go out and hurt people, hurt other designers, hurt customers. So inherently, I think you always reach out privately and give people a chance to, do whatever they're going to do. Oh crap, I didn't know, or oh, that was an accident, or whatever it may be, right? Let the designers try and hash it out, I think is where it comes. But if it's a consistent problem and think people are like doubling down that they didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I don't know. I think that's at the level where a designer has to decide, do they take legal action if there is legal action? Do you bring it to the attention of the public without, naming names or saying, like, I'm not, in no way am I trying to like vilify somebody or say you should not block, go by their path. Like, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just having a discussion of, again, where do we draw the line of imitation and inspiration? Like, it gets really muddy here, right? It's really hard. It's really hard. Let's see here. So Sandy is saying the close-up of the beach cover-up, one on the right, looks like it's an extra row. Yeah, it very well could. It could be slight enough difference. But that's what I'm saying to you. It's more than just, oh, that stitch pattern is the same. It's the whole of it, right? So I don't know the name of either one of those beach cover-ups. I have no idea. Yeah. I don't know who designed them. I don't know anything. But what if not only do they look very similar, if you didn't know, if you were looking for the one on the left and came across the one on the right and you bought the one on the right, well, crap, the person on the, did I say that right? You were looking for the right, came on the left, you bought the left, the person on the right now has missed a sale, right? And what if one or the other, they're using the same hashtags, they're using the same SEO keywords behind the scenes, they're using the same terminology, they're using the same advertising tactics, like all of that. At what point where's the line?
Right.
Where's the line? And I mean, and yeah, this is just a rhetorical question, guys. This is not, I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just like, where's the line, right? Where do we say it's okay to redirect the attention of a possible sale away from the original work? Do you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'm going to go back here because there's more. All right. So I'm going to scroll up. So we looked at those 4, right? Look at these. Now, clearly, I'm going to say this out loud clearly in the sense of, you know this is MJ. And I want to be very clear, this is MJ's design. And I am not accusing MJ of stealing, copying, or doing anything. Like, that's MJ's design. I don't know who the other person is. I don't know. But they look similar enough. I have no idea. I don't know what I don't know what they're named. I don't know what the tags are. But my question again goes back to, what if they're presented the same, they're the same tags, they're the similar names, they're advertised the same, the patterns are presented the same. Like, what if? What do you guys think? Cheryl, I just want to make sure you know, in no way is this conversation circled around you and the Pixel Pop. Like, I am so incredibly flattered the fact that you use the Pixel Pop to make socks. Like, I just want to be very clear because she has sent me pictures of her Pixel Pop socks because she liked that stitch. So I just want to be very clear, Cheryl.
That's not what we're talking about.
Not at all, Cheryl. Not at all. Just want to be very clear.
Yeah.
So yeah. So looking at this,
I just feel like this is a lot of work for not a lot of return. Like, it's a lot of work to make it all and then do it.
So what if I told you the imitation, and again, I don't know. What if the imitation is more popular than the original, or is one of the best sellers of the person who has now made it? Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of work, but there is return. But is it ethical work?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
Go to the last one. I think the last one is what?
All right.
The last line.
I mean, this is crazy to me. I know how hard it is to make
bags.
To make bags. I'm like, okay. You know, and I've seen things like the Fendi bag, I think is what it is. There's a Fendi bag, a crochet Fendi bag, or a crochet Prada bag. But yeah, we all could do it. But the minute you put Prada on there, you're in violation of a trademark. You know what I mean? Anyways, okay. So I'm going to keep going. Oh, there's the last one.
Like, Those seem extremely the same to me.
Extremely.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely. I mean, the ribbing on this one down here, I don't think this one, I can't see the ribbing on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's a triangle or a heart, but that's a heart. Regardless,
extremely the same.
If you didn't know, if you had come across this once on Ravelry and you were like, oh, where was that? And you tried to go and search it again, you came up against the other one. I think it would be absolutely valid if you thought it was the same one.
Oh, I would think it was the exact same one. It's just somebody made a different sample.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these ones are real close. Now, just to be very clear, I have no idea if one person was inspired by the other person. I don't know if, just like with Tamara and myself, they just came up with the same thing. I have no idea. Right. That's why I want to have the discussion. But I also want to go back and say it's more than just a stitch. It goes way deeper than that. It goes way deeper. What did I say before? I'm gonna pull up my notes here because I wanted to be very clear on what my verbiage was. Is you want to make sure that we're not going beyond inspiration, that the person is, you know, it's the stitches, or it's a slightly different stitch, but it's the photography, it's the keywords, it's the naming of the same, it's the presentation of the material, it's the same type of reels, it's the same type of advertising, all of that together. Mm-hmm. Where is the line? Where does it cross that line of imitation and inspiration? I don't know. I don't know the answer. These are rhetorical questions. I would love to know what you guys all think. Like, that's what I want to have here. I want to have an open discussion. It's quite interesting. It's interesting here. So I did ask ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT about legal, ethical ground check, so to speak, of copyright stuff, right? And I just want to tell you what they said. Now, again, ChatGPT is not a legal entity. They are not like, this is not legal advice by any means. This is just, right. I'm like, hey, this is what I found. So it says copyright protection absolutely applies to the creative expression of a pattern. That's a good word, creative expression. That includes the written text, the stitch arrangement as expressed, photography, charts, even the overall presentation and the look and feel. The underlying stitches themselves, like the knit or purl or the single crochet or double crochet, they are not protected because they're just generic stitches. But, oh, here it is. A specific combination and presentation of them in a unique way is protected. So I guess at that point, my guess would be that a court of law would have to decide what is unique. And not only just the court of law, but as a designer, at what point do you decide yours is unique enoughly different than somebody else's, I guess. At least that's what my brain goes to. And it says, if someone reproduces the same look, feel, structure, composition, especially while using nearly identical titles, SEO tags, or photos that mimic the original photo, that crosses into derivative work territory, which requires permission. I didn't even know what derivative work territory is.
Well, for us, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess there's that. So that's derivative work. Number 2, it says, even if a stitch is slightly altered, if the overall design remains unrecognizably the same to like a layman, it says courts and Etsy's IP policy have consistently viewed that as a copying of creative work. The small tweak defense doesn't hold water when the intent of imitations are clear. So, knowing that, at what point do you say, I used a bobble, but I used a popcorn? They're so similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everything else looks the same. One's a bobble, one's a popcorn. I think a layman person who just knows it's crochet, they're not going to know the difference.
I don't see how they would.
No. But is that a big enough difference to be unique? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. But is that a small tweak or is that a big enough tweak? All right, number 3, ethically. This goes beyond legal protection. When a designer repeatedly mirrors other creators' designs, their keywords, their photography styling, and photography styling, it shows intent to redirect traffic and income. That's unfair competition and a real issue under moral and commercial standards. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, morally, I think that's where I get nervous about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like,
oh, yeah.
Like, I don't want to ever make anyone feel like I'm copying any of their things.
We're always thinking about that, down to just naming stuff. We're looking on Ravelry to what other people have named
Make
stuff.
sure it hasn't been used before, used in this way. Like the whole thing.
Constant. Yes.
Yeah. The naming is a big one to make sure it's different. But just like, again, ethically and morally, like that's where like my brain is going, like, that's wild. Because like, I think for us, when it comes to photography, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to figure out how in the world do we photograph this blanket, we 100% go and look at 8,000 blanket patterns and be
Yes.
like, I like that
if
one.
you have not photographed a blanket, it is not easy.
You think
Not
it's going to be so easy? Just
Yeah.
drape it over something.
No, it's not easy.
Not easy. But like in those cases, the blanket looks nothing like the other blanket. Like when we're like, ooh, I like the way the lighting, I like how all that's done. And everything in our photo is inspired by it.
Mm-hmm.
But the original blanket looked completely different than our blanket.
Yep.
So again, it's like that, the rule of like one, the rule of one, pulled this from here. And again, when it comes to SEO words and things like that, we 100% go and look and see what's going to pull
What
the
people are
most draw.
searching. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But never off of an exact thing.
No. I mean, it just even like, I'm going to pick on Brianna. Brianna has a style of presenting her reels of what she does, right? And Brianna specifically has said, Marley, this reel that I did on this hat, this is working. Go and do the exact same thing for your hat, right? Yeah. So I do the exact same thing for my hat, but my hat is different. Like my hat is completely different. Right. So it's the same style of presenting, but it's a different hat, right? And also I have her permission to do that. But I don't need her permission to do that, but it's a different hat. So that's where things are they're different, right?
Mm-hmm. When everything's the same, like that, or so similar that a regular person couldn't tell. I mean, ethically, I just can't imagine where your line is. You're just like,
yeah,
that's interesting,
right?
Because but I mean, like somebody in the comments said, this is exactly what happens in high-end fashion all the time. 100%,
all the time.
Mm-hmm. All the time. Everyone's knocking off everyone else's designs.
Yep.
It's wild to me.
People who have no creativity are going to go copy something else. And you know what's even crazier is sometimes, and I hate using the word copy, be inspired by someone else. Sometimes the non-original one becomes just as popular as the original, and it gets, you just use the word knocked off. It gets inspired by another one. You know what I mean? It's a perpetual cycle. And the funniest thing to me is when that happens, the one that's not original gets all up in arms. Like, this is just mine. I'm just like, no, baby girl, it was not. It was not yours. And it all comes around. I guess this is what I wrote on a post this weekend. I was like, we all share, designers, we all share ideas and we lift each other up in our community. We've talked about this before in the knitting and crochet community specifically. We are so good at with the designers lifting each other up. Like we all, for the most part, all of us, I understand it's the most part, all of us, I can't even think of somebody who is against it. We're very much a rising tide lifts all boats. You know, I know more strong individual business owners in the crochet community that are so supportive and encouraging and lifting each other up all the time. Like, we'll share each other's patterns, our designs, whatever it's going on, right? So we spent all this time doing that. And I said, but there's a big difference between being inspired and being a copycat, where we as designers spend hours, days, weeks, sometimes months, especially in your case, right? For
All the time.
Right?
All the time. I do not think that.
All this time designing something that we intentionally were trying to make original, but then to watch somebody just trace over that so that they could just get clicks off of my work, it's infuriating and it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we protect ourselves? How do we make sure there's some integrity in the designs as a community? And I'm going to go back to the fact that there's nothing out there getting taught anymore. There's no places you can go for professional development to learn what is okay and what's not as okay.
Right.
And the hard part here is there are some like Etsy gurus who will tell you, hey, if you're going to go on Etsy and you want to be successful, go look at what your competition is doing and copy them. Like, they perfectly will say that. Go look at what your competition is doing and copy them. When we're in an art creativity sort of space, man, that is a lot of ethical, moral ground. I feel like you just want to be very careful with.
Yeah.
I think it's better if you say, I'm going to be inspired by them. You know, I get inspired by MJ Design's photography and Brianna's photography and Hanjan's photography. And when I worked with them and I did the billow pillow and the Inish Moore blanket, and they all had we all had to do our own photography. I'm like, how do you do yours? Because I want to make mine look cohesive with yours. Like, how do I do this? And so we all talked about it, right? So like, I'm inspired by their photography. I try and up my photography game as much as possible all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not copying them.
Right.
I don't know. I really want to know what everybody thinks. I'd really love to know. And then at the end of this, since we've looked at all the pictures, I have the same image here, and it has the year that each of the images were made on there. And I want to share that just in case somebody's like, I want to make sure nobody thinks that one person is, I just want to make sure everybody knows when each one was published. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing this. So what are people saying in the chat?
It's just the same thing we are. Just like it's just wild thinking how it is moral, like how in your soul are you okay with that? And like that's a weird thing. And like, you know, as Stephanie is always like why wouldn't you want to why would you want to diminish somebody else? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like,
I don't understand.
What's your gain?
Yep. I don't know.
Obviously they think it's a monetary gain, but like still like
absolutely.
I can't imagine it in my gut. It would make me have an upset stomach all the time.
Oh yeah. I don't have the I don't have the stomach to do that. Like I had told John once when we were dating, we were talking, you know, like as you talk about things, and I was talking about cheating, and I was like, just if you ever are even thinking about cheating on me, I'd rather you just tell me you don't want to be with me than cheat on me. Like that would just eat me up. And he said something about me, and I said, oh honey, you would know if I were cheating, because I would be sick to my stomach. Like that is just not who I am at all. I'd be just ill. I can't take that. I don't like lying, cheating, feeling like I've hurt somebody, or I can't do it. It's just too much. It's too much. Okay. Let me come over here, try and do the share screen again, see if it'll work. It's trying to connect right now. It's working. I hear it in the background trying to work. There it goes. Okay. So we're back. So the top 4. I'm going to scroll again. I'm going to scroll to the last. Y'all use your own judgment. Again, I don't know who any of these designers are, except obviously MJ, and I know Brianna because everybody knows. Well, I guess I know. I can't think of her name right now, but I know this because her daughter's so freaking cute.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name. Y'all will know who it is. But then obviously I know Brianna. I don't know anybody else's stuff. I have no idea. I found it worthy enough of a conversation. And that's all I want. I just want to have a conversation here of, again, at what point, where do we draw a line?
I mean, I know where to draw a line, but it's just wild to me when other people don't have any line and you're like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Again, I just feel old, where you're like, no, that's just not how I do it.
Make sure you guys leave your comments if you're watching this after the fact and stuff. Leave comments below. I'd like to have the discussion to keep going. I would like the community as a whole to keep talking about this. Like, I think it's important we talk about this. Not
I
like
think the hardest thing is just being a consumer and you'd have no idea. Yeah. There's no way to like really do your homework. Why would you do like all this Google research for a $5 pattern?
Yeah.
Like there's no way. I'm not saying that anyone should feel bad if they bought a copy or anything like that.
It's not.
I don't think there's any way to know. I wouldn't worry about any of that. Not putting any onus on the consumer.
No.
There's no way to know.
Yeah.
Just.
Yep. Yeah. I just wanted to have a discussion because I found it quite interesting when I saw the images side by side. Again, when somebody tells me, oh, they copied me, I take that with a grain of salt, whoever it may be. I'm like, but did they? Like, and I'll go look and I'll just like, well, yeah, they look similar, but it's not a copy. It's not a derivative. It's nothing that.
Yeah. The only time I've ever been copied is when they taken something directly out of my book. Like the direct photocopy. And then you're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Or, I've had people, again, on Etsy sell my exact pattern. Like they'll take the PDF and then they'll publish it and put it on their own. Or they'll pull it from a magazine that I now own the rights to my own pattern. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
All of that.
Yes, yeah. 100%. All of that happens all the time. But I'm always like, I'm never quick to like jump on the bandwagon of attacking. I don't believe in attacking designers. I don't think that's right. Again, I feel like you should have conversations privately, and I think that's the professional way to go about it. But educating the community like this, educating designers, if we don't talk about it publicly in a very generic format like this, how are we going to learn if there's no place for us to learn this stuff anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and if you guys don't know what TNNA or CGOA or KGOA were, those were professional organizations that were out there to help designers, yarn companies, all the things, right? And they would put on like professional development days. So you would learn this stuff. If you wanted to be beyond like a hobbyist or a crafter, you could learn this stuff. But there's nothing, to my knowledge, y'all can, if you know someplace, let me know. But to my knowledge, there's no place like that anymore. So I feel like we have to have these open discussions. And again, I'm not calling anybody else out by name or anything like that, except, I mean, Brianna, I said Brianna's name and I said MJ, but I don't know. I don't know who designed
We know
this
where
stuff.
The original work came
yeah,
from.
I don't know. I just know, yeah, I'm not saying they're copiers or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see an image like this, where so many designs side by side, it's like, well, how deep do we look into this? And I don't say we, the customer. I mean, as designers, you're like, gosh dang, that's real close. Oh, they used my same name. Oh, that photography looks this. Oh, that reel is exactly the same. Oh, they're specifically targeting my audience with my design. Oh, they've put it cheaper than I've put mine. Oh, well, now they're just going to put it free on their website. Oh, okay, but they're going to make money on ads. Like you guys see what I'm saying? Like there's way more than like this surface level thing of somebody got their panties in a wad because that pattern looks like mine. You know what I mean? It's
No,
just,
it just, yeah, there's multiple things that happen to make it feel icky.
yeah. Yeah. So kind of jumping off of this. So we've talked about first fall coming up. I'm going to be posting about first fall this week so that you guys can see what the project actually is and sign up either for the free version or you could upgrade to VIP. Spoiler alert, VIP is the best money spent. So, but in the interest of first fall, I'm doing thrummed mittens. And thrum mittens, in my opinion, they're very much like a stockinette stitch out there. Like you're just adding some roving to a stitch. And I want to make sure that I'm not, it's hard to not make something that's so incredibly close to somebody else's something and be, well, she stole this. I'm not trying to do that. Like, y'all know I can make mittens. I know how to do a mitten pattern. And if I want to do just a basic mitten pattern and add a piece of roving every 5 stitches, it's still my pattern. You know what I mean? So I guess there's that part of me where I'm like, I'm just trying to be a little bit careful because a mitten, a scarf, all those things, they can be so much questioning things there if you want to. I don't know. Yeah. It's, again, because all of this is always discussed about and it's always on my mind, just making sure that I am different. I just want to be different. At the same time, I don't want to be so different that I've made things so difficult that nobody wants to do my stuff, right? So that's the other hard part. When you do things that are simple, easier, you run the risk of also having other patterns that are simple and easy and looking the same. And that's hard. It's hard. You reading something?
Yeah, I'm just reading through comments and things like that.
Yeah. Any you want to share?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So there's lots of discussion going on. Speaking of first fall, so one of the things we talked about that we would be doing today is a lunch and learn. And I told you guys that there is this rubber tubing that Laura Nelkin has called a stitch saver, not stitch saver. Yeah, stitch saver.
I don't know.
All of a sudden my brain just
don't know. I do not have any idea what you're talking about, which is the funniest part about all of this. I'm like, don't know.
So this here, it's a spool of like rubber tubing. It's like 2 millimeter rubber tubing. And there's a hole in the middle of this. So you can, you know what? Let me change my camera view. So that way you guys can see all of this. All right, hold on. Here I go. Let me get closer if I can. Am I still in focus? Somewhat.
Your nails are.
Okay, is the cording? Can you see there's a hole in it? No, of course not. Okay. What if I put a needle in it?
Well, that certainly helps.
Did that help? So there's a hole in this tube, right? There's a hole there. So what's cool is just like this, you can put your needle into this. So if I had this with live stitches on it for like a sleeve or a provisional cast on or something to pick up stitches, I can just put my needle on this and then pull on this cord and it will pull the needle onto my stitches. Does that make sense? Yep. So it's like a stitch saver sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I love this. I have it on my turkey trot right now holding stitches for my sleeve, but this is great for provisional cast on. So I was telling you about this. You're like, I don't know what that is. And I get this on Amazon. We need to find the Amazon link. I shared it before, but I'll give you guys an Amazon link and I'll put it in my show notes. Cause if you purchase it from Amazon, it'll be my affiliate and I'll make a little money, which would be great. Just so that you guys know. So you can use this for provisional cast on. And so that when I go back to pick up these, I'll pull the needle through and now I'll have all those stitches on a needle. And I used this on the turkey trot sweater. So I was going to show you how to do this.
Nice.
So go ahead.
No, it's always fun when you have a craft supply so you can use in a new way.
Yeah. So this thing, I want to say it's like $7 or $8, this entire spool. And there's just so much there, you know, and you use what you want and you cut it off. So like there's that. I just cut off this morning what I wanted to use and put it aside. So we're going to take a little bit of this. Am I still in focus? Hopefully.
Your nails are.
Okay. So I'm just cutting it off.
Your table is not.
All right.
In
So,
focus.
but my hands where I'm
Your
using.
hands are in focus.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to use this yarn here because I can. And we're going to start off. We're going to do a provisional cast on. Okay, guys? You're going to start off and you're going to take the tail of your yarn and do a slip knot. And then take your cord and put it through the slip knot and then tie the slip knot around it. Okay.
I'm going to see if I can make you big. Hold on.
Okay.
Don't yell at me, guys, if I don't make her big. That's not what I want. I want to press the buttons. No, that one's ugly.
Are you?
I don't know. Why can't I find you? That's fine. I'm happy.
Okay, there you go.
I just want to see what you were doing bigger.
Okay. So, so I've put a slip knot onto the cord. All right. And this slip knot will be removed. So it does not count as a stitch or anything like that. It will be removed. Okay. So we're going to do a provisional cast on. If you don't know what a provisional cast on is, it's so that you have live stitches that you then can go back and, either finish off in a certain way, pick up stitches and do a sleeve or do a,
right.
I mean, these are just so many different things for it. Right. So we're going to do a provisional cast on. So you take your needle, we're going to go underneath the yarn on this side. So think of this is your yarn over side, and I hold the cord and my tail here. So I'm in my yarn over. Am I unfocused? Yeah.
I feel like you're now a little unfocused. Yep. Okay. You got to stay all the way up there.
Okay. Not a problem. So I have my yarn over. I'm going to go underneath my cord.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go on top of the yarn. So it's like I'm scooping it up.
So that it wraps it around the cord.
A yarn over. Yep. Come under the cord, on top, and scoop. Yarn over, under the cord, on top, and scoop. Yarn over, under the cord, on top, and scoop. Okay. So if you don't count that one, we have 2, 4, 6. This is 7. So that would be an odd number, right? And then there's your yarn over. So you can tell which one you just did, because if you're looking at the yarn down here, I'm backwards. I don't know why I'm backwards on here. You look at the yarn down here, you can see it's coming, it's underneath the cord, right? Where I'm like this, it's coming up over the needle, right? Okay. So now I'm going to turn my work. So this cord, I want to make sure it's on top of my working yarn. So when I turn my work, it is essentially holding on that last stitch that was on there.
Okay.
Okay. So I can turn now and I can start knitting, purling, whatever I'm supposed to do. Right. So I'm going to say, let's knit. Let's knit. I'm just going to start knitting. I can look at the stitches, make sure however they're presented, if they're knit or like if it's presented backwards, you can fix it if you need to. Sure. You just start doing whatever it is the pattern is telling you to do. Okay. And then make sure you do the last one. I've come to where I got one more here. And then off and just leave your slip knot there. You can take that out later. Right.
That's what I was wondering what you do with that.
You just leave it there.
Undo it later.
Yeah, you can take it out later. And then you just go back, do whatever you're going to do, right? I could just knit, I could purl or whatever. And then when things are all said and done, I can come down here, take my slip knot off. All of those are on a holder and I could put a needle in there. Okay. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you've done a provisional cast on. If you do your provisional cast on, then you purl a row, knit a row, purl a row. So I just finished a purl row, so I'm on a knit row. Okay. And I want to turn this into a tubular cast on. I can grab my needle here. Put it down here into my tube, right? And you really want to make sure this is pushed on there, right? Push on there pretty good because we're going to have it pull through. So I'm going to take the tubing. It's hard to do this with, there we go. And it will pull it. It's really hard to do this, like trying to make sure I'm in camera and all the things. If you can see, can you see it's pulling it through?
Yeah, it's pulling your.
And I'm making sure, it's not
on.
coming off of the needle or whatever.
Right.
And when I get all the way through here, so now everything's on my needle, I can take off my tubing. So now my tubing, I can set this aside and use it again later. Here's my slip knot, take it off, goes away. So now I have stitches that I was using before up top. These are the stitches that I originated with. So if I want to do tubular cast on, and that's where the bottom part looks like it's rolled, you're going to end up, you will knit one from one side and purl one from the other side. So it kind of folds like this. So you knit one here, purl one here, and you get this really cool look. So I'm going to show you. So you can put them all on one needle, which is always recommended. Not always recommended. I recommend it. And Laura Nelkin recommended it too, which was good. But you essentially would slip these off. You'd say, okay, that one's knit. This one's purl. Make sure it's want to be presented on your needle correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's knit. So that, see how that the back leg there is coming forwards. That's why I'm coming in through the back leg to put it over here.
Yep.
Does that make sense? That one's correct.
Then it's not twisted.
That's all they're slipped on here correctly onto one needle. And I'm going from one to the other. And what's going to happen here is I'm going to get a knit one, purl one ribbing when I go to work this row. And if you do this and you're like, I don't understand I can't hardly tell if, one is seated correctly or not until you go to knit or purl it, you can just fix it later too. It's no big deal.
Right.
One from the front, one from the back, yada, yada. I don't know why I cast on so many. I got so excited. She's like, let's just do all the things. Ooh. I think I accidentally grabbed a needle too that's bigger than the one I used. So that's not good. Hey, again, this is very difficult to be doing this on the fly and making sure I'm in camera and all the things. I keep saying all the things. I really need to think of something else to say. I'm almost done. Almost there. I'm almost there. Okay. Okay. And okay. So now everything's on one needle. Put it down because my yarn's down here, so I have to put it down here. And what should happen here is I should be able to, it should go knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, if I've done everything correctly. So I'm looking at a knit. I should be able to knit it.
Mm-hmm.
Put all these up. Looking at a purl. I'm going to purl it. Knit. Purl. Knit. Purl. So on and so forth. I'm going to keep going. And like when you do this, you tend to do it with an even number when you're doing a provisional or a tubular cast on. So if you're doing like a cardigan, like what I did, when I did my even number to do this, and then I immediately did a decrease. So that way I got to my odd number so that, my ribbing was the same.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I was like, that seems smart. So what's funny is I did that. And then Shiri, when we were doing the pattern, I told her this is what I did. She's like, all right, but you need an odd number. What did you do? And then she came back and she's like, well, this is what you should do, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's what I did. She's like, great minds. I'm like, I know.
That's right.
That's what I did. So this is like really, I just love this. And again, Laura Nelkin has really taken off with the whole stitch saver, the barber cord. I think it's called barber cord, rubber barber cord craze. Like she has so many different ways that she has used it, and it's just fascinating. So I've been using it a little bit here and there, but you could see here, if I turn, I'm just going to go knit and purl. You see, it looks like it's like a rolled edge. You see
Yeah,
that?
because essentially took like a piece of fabric and like it's like,
yep.
but
So
it's 3 rows or whatever.
right, right. So this is very similar to like a double knitting, or this looks like machines. If you guys look at the bottom of your rib sweaters and stuff that are done by machines, this looks a lot like this. So it gives that really great sort of finishing look. And you can mimic a tubular cast on with a tubular bind off so that they look similar. But now I don't have to worry about anything, right? I'm just in my ribbing patterns. I would just continue. If I'm looking at a knit, I knit it. If I'm looking at a purl, I purl it, and it would just carry on. So that's a great way to learn how to use the provisional cast on with that tubing. And then this obviously is the tubular cast on, which really works great with the tubing. Now, one thing that I did learn from Laura is if you're going to do the provisional cast on with this tubing, but your pattern calls for a different type of provisional cast on, like with the crochet chain, usually you'll have a setup row with the crochet chain. You don't need the setup row if you're using the tubing, because the tubing takes the place of that. So you can eliminate that setup row. And that's where we are here. I'll show you what this looks like at the end. But I think this is great. I will, of course, have all this in the videos when it comes to Turkey Trot, because I did this on it'll be in the videos for Turkey Trot VIP, because I did this for the cardigan, and the cardigan is going to be in the VIP. Right. And then it will also be linked into the pattern itself when the pattern goes up for sale on its own. So you will, have instructions for this again, but I just thought it was really cool. And you had never seen it done, so I wanted to show you.
No, I think it's really fun.
Isn't that
I always
neat?
love little techniques like that.
Yeah, this is so cost effective, this little rubber stuff. And I mean, I've used it so much. And before I went on the cruise, like I spun off quite a bit, and then I just cut it. I was like, I don't know how much I need. And I used the perfect amount for my sleeves, and I didn't have to worry about putting it on scrap yarn or anything, because it's all on the needle there. So yeah, that's that. So I will give you guys the link for this. If you want to take me off of that, I will switch
I'll bring
over.
it back to us if I can figure it out.
I can figure out my face. There I am. There's my face.
So, it is a different position. I don't know what I did. Before there's rounded corners. Now there's no rounded corners. If you care.
I don't care.
Because I'm sure you care.
I just care that you're on the screen. So that's where we are. That's where we are. Anyways, all right. Big discussions today, everybody. I would love to know what you think and what's your take on all of it. Like, where do you land with everything? And just remember, give lots of love to your favorite designers. And the best way to know like what's their patterns and stuff is they're coming out with new stuff. Sign up for their newsletters. Follow them on their socials, because that's the best way for all of us to continue doing what we're doing, and for you guys to stay up to date, whether you are following along with the free patterns on our website, where we have ads to help our income come in, or if you purchase the ad-free PDFs, which most of us put them out there at a very reasonably price, so you can follow along with an uninterrupted crafting experience. But yeah, that's it. But I would love to know what you think, and if you share this video with your friends, please do. I would love to know what they think. I think it'd be great to kind of get it out there and have an open discussion. Just fair warning, if there becomes any sort of fighting, nitpicking, name calling, or specifically calling anybody out in the comments, I will delete those. That's not what this is for. This is to have a very cordial community discussion about it. I don't want this to be, this is not a drama channel. It's not what I'm here for. I don't want that. I just want to have an open discussion. Yeah. Anything else, Robin?
No, that's it.
All right. Okay. Good. All right, everybody, be on the lookout for first fall information. My guess is it will come out on Wednesday, because I have to just nip up a couple things. But I will be putting out all of the stuff. And yeah, VIP, you're definitely going to want VIP. If you don't know what VIP is, or the Marley Birdhouse, go check out the marleybirdhouse.com and look at all of the offerings. You're going to be surprised. There's some really great stuff. All right, everybody, we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.